Long ago, a man come from the stars in a circular object, what you will call a UFO. Grandpa speak to the star people, the little green men. I introduced myself as Chief Bear Cross. Today I represent the headdress, the chief bonnet of the Sundance way of life. We are the red nation of the earth. We have the blood, you have the blood. We all bleed the same color. Today, we ask for unification. There is no wrong in this world unless you create wrong. The choices. The power you have with the earth. They destroy the earth by moving the earth, the top layer, killing all the plants, ripping them all out of the ground, removing the stone that wasn't supposed to move.
These forces, they stole from human beings their innate understanding, a consciousness about divine power, about the nature of the body.
The collapse of humanity is a possibility. But the one thing that none of those algorithms, none of those calculations are accounting for is the spirit world.
They say when your body expires, Wanagi Oyate, you begin to travel the ghost road, the spirit road. That is the Milky Way.
The Coyote lets the star people know we are still here, Indigenous, and all race around the world. The Coyote lets them know we are still here. Do not send a stone. Creator's watching you through his eyes. Creation's watching you through the animals.
So I believe we have that power to redeem ourselves, to save ourselves. We can't do it alone, but we can do it with the gifts that have been bestowed on us.
I feel like I wouldn't be doing my duty as a podcaster who grew up in the Rogan lineage if I didn't share this story about your encounter with Bigfoot.
I was 9 years old. That's when I seen that big hairy man.
This podcast with Chief Bear Cross and Chase Iron Eyes is one of the most powerful podcasts I've ever recorded. And it was recorded before this wild controversy erupted. And it was at a time where I was bestowed a great honor by Chief Bear Cross. And I didn't realize the responsibility that would immediately follow from that great honor that was bestowed upon me. In this podcast, we explore the depth of Lakota wisdom that comes from Chief Bear Cross's both knowledge and almost mystical perception of reality through the Lakota lens, and Chase Iron Eye's beautiful storytelling of our first peoples, the peoples that all too often get forgotten in the story of America and who we are and our land and our ancestors and the ground that we walk on. So I hope you guys really enjoy and soak in this podcast with two incredible human beings, Chase Iron Eyes and Chief Bear Cross.
mitakiapi. Chantel bashte na pe chuzapo. Ampetukile chaje mitchaki itchacha matro cha ichi paweje e machiapolo. Hoena petukile miecha wa uolo. Lena ampetukile miecha iwaglake la koyapi naha washichu iwaglake. Hoyash mitakiapi tuecha wochekia naha waglake kile nahu ake wopila tranka epchelo mitakuyepi. Ho washia owaglake. Friends and relatives, today I introduce myself as Chief Bear Cross. I am from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I am from the land of the Ocheti of the Great Sioux Nation. Today we are here. We are here to talk about what we called Wanagi, the ghost. Wanagi Oyate, and how it was to be from 1890 and beyond Wounded Knee Massacre to where we are today of how Grandpa survived Wounded Knee. Those few survivors Wounded Knee Massacre. Grandpa wear a red and white face. Grandpa survived. I'm here to talk a little bit about the lineage of the ghost. Today I represent the headdress, the chief bonnet of the Sundance way of life. We talk about the Sundance way of life of how it can help the way the world heal. The world is fighting. Today we pray for Lakota. Lakota is the inner peace throughout Mother Earth in the spiritual way of the Mother Earth's womb of the Inipi Sweat Lodge. Today, the Inipi symbolizes as Mother Earth. The Hochoka, where the Tatankapka sits, represents the full moon. The Peta, where you build a fire, represents Atewi, the sun. When you go into Mother Earth's womb, you are reborn into the buffalo way of life. The buffalo breath restores and regenerates your way of your life. Today, Grandpa Red Eyes, survivor of Wounded Knee Massacre 1890, make his way to Makoshicha Badlands, made his way to what we call Kyle, South Dakota, the Pine Ridge Reservation. He made his homestead on a creek under Tashunka, Wisko, Naha, Washichu, Tashunka, Chief American Horse. Today, Grandpa live, and he has survived and participated in the ghost dance in Wounded Knee. Today we come and share the knowledge and the wisdom and the message of Lakota, peace, for all people across Turtle Island and around the world. Today, it is an honor to sit here and bring the Wanagi, the ghost, the symbol, the red and white face. Today, we speak of the red, green, yellow, blue medicine wheel. Represents when the sun is setting, you'll see the colors in the sky. You'll see the colors when the sun is rising, along with the people's colors, black, red, yellow, white. The vision of the dream of the Wanagi. You are the self of your inner soul of the love. Today, you are able to carry what you call inner soul of the power. You have the power to carry it in the life of what we do today, living. Will Lakota have the self-inner peace? Today, I want to turn it to my brother. He's from Standing Rock. He's the grandson of Chief Iron Eyes of the Lakota Oyate. Today he is here. I want to introduce my brother, Chase Iron Eyes. Okay.
Hoka. Leam Betuki. Lila Wopila Tonka. Brother. Itancha Bear Cross. Ichiab. Aubrey. Brother Aubrey.
Oh.
Lila Wopila Tonka. You know how. Big thank you. Ake Wahinaji. We're here again. We're standing here again. And it's so good. It's so powerful. Across the globe, across the world, we've been able to connect with medicine lineages, spiritual seekers, people who are trying their best, their human best, to be disciplined in these tawokoze, these ways of life, these laws. And we're doing our best to give ourselves to them and to carry out the vision and the dream and to help each and every one of our people carry out their visions and their dreams. And I know that we've come a long way and things are not how they should be right now in our homelands on the reservation. But that's why we're here. We're here to build bridges. We're here to make friends. And we're here to empower ourselves, empower Indigenous nations. There's no reason why we should exist in a state of dependency vis-a-vis the United States. And we know that we have friends. All of America wants to help the Native American. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes ceremony. And what you offered us here, a home, a place to host the Hochoka, the Oyate, the altar, and our people, our nation, our families. We represent our families here. We represent the entire Ocheti Shakowi. And we're just one altar among many. And we want to bring people together, other Indigenous nations, other people who may have been disconnected from their lineage, their ceremony, people of all phenotypes. We want to come together. We have this time now to come together.
You know, one thing that is really beautiful about immersing myself and, you know, bathing in the wisdom and the remembering that you all bring is encapsulated in many ways in the statement Aho Mantakuye Oyasin, we are all related. And that doesn't just mean related as humans, which is very important because we always have our humans and then there's the other ones over there. And we try to make a difference. And that's at the base of every war is the othering of other people, as if they don't bleed red, as if they aren't connected to Wakan, like to the great mystery, to the creator. And I think also religion has played a part in separating people from the creator. And in this statement of we are all related, it's related because we are all different aspects of the creator, of Wakantanka. You know, we are all a part of that. And I think that's something really important for all of us to remember, is that there really is no separation. You know, so that separation is just part of a dream. But the truth is that we are all different emanations of the one creator being.
The vision the dream of how it is all connected. Many different ways of life to say prayer. Many cultures throughout what we call Unchimaka, Mother Earth. Of how we all sit in a circle in the sweat lodge, Changleshka Walkan. Of how we sit today in a circle. Unification. Creator of creations, if you pay attention, unifies you in a certain way. Through the heart and the mind of trying to do something good, you are able to do it in a positive way, without negative. How you unify in the circle and you sit there. How Creator brought you together. Sometimes it takes word by mouth to come together. One or two people will come. But if it's meant from the heart and the mind of how the healing took place, everybody comes like what you witnessed yesterday. The Creator, through the knowledge in the land, sent out a call. These people came for a healing in the sweat lodge and last night's ceremony. Unification was meant on its own. When you have good potential and good intentions, the people around you, the power, with the wind of how you see the wind blowing, that's how the knowledge is spread through the way of life. You open that mind and that door just like you see the door there. You walk through it, you will feel the wind on the other side. But how do you open it? Well, you open it by self-centering yourself. Get rid of all the negative in your life. Get rid of all the bad habits. Some people don't have that. Some people do. But pray, because everybody can pray in this world. Everybody will put a prayer out in the universe of universe. The universe is what controls the cosmos and the sky. Very important to this way of life here on the earth. Of all many cultures, if you noticed, throughout the world, everybody worshiped the star people in many cultures. Creator God. Everybody talk to Dakushkashka up above. Creator God. When you speak to it, it will come to you in many different forms. Animals are very important. The eagle, buffalo, coyote, spider, snake. Everything has an important purpose in this world, including you, my brother. You're on a spiritual journey with the open heart. With Lakota, the peace you have. The peace is here on this earth, in this land. The peace is within yourself. Create the Lakota. The peace with the world fighting. The peace can happen at any time. The prayer I send and the message we send is Lakota. The Lakota of our way, of our indigenous people, of how we suffered in the 1800s. We have to let go of some of the past. We have to let go and move and advance into the world. That's the way the world is. The world's changing. We hold on to our traditions. We hold on to our way of life with the buffalo bonnet here, with the wiaka, the feather. Through the knowledge of English language, through our Lakota, Lakoyapi. And we have speak. When you speak it, you have the connection with the earth. You can feel it on your face, the wind. The wind comes when you speak the Lakota language. It has a power. It has a power to call the spirits, the Lakota language. The English language we pray, they will hear us. They will understand us. When you pray on Lakota, the same way. You will call the spirit of the self of your soul.
One of the things that struck me when I met you, so I met you the first time in Boulder, and one of the things that I noticed immediately is, I've been around many medicine people, many people who walk in both worlds. And at my best, I can also see the different worlds, the worlds of the flesh and the worlds of the spirit. And I saw, as you looked at me, I saw the eyes of someone who walks in both worlds, sees both worlds. And I also saw the eyes of someone who is forgiven the immense trauma of the past, directly in your blood lineage, survivors of a massacre and all of the atrocities and all of the suffering of your people, and still found a great joy and laughter and happiness. And both of those things, I think, were very striking to me, to be able to access both all of the spiritual world in a powerful way, forgive all of the past, and still find your way to joy, to like actually experiencing life in the, they call it the beauty way, but the beauty way is with laughter and with smiles and with a heart that's full and bursting. And, when I felt that from you, I just had the utmost admiration and respect. And same with you, Chase. It's like there's a quality about recognizing, not bypassing the traumas of the past, but moving beyond that, dedicating to service and doing it with like a vitality and a positive energy that ripples out. So it's really profound to just see you both walking this path in that way.
It's true. And it's been a long road. You have to take the first step as a human being. You have to initiate the contact with the spirit world. And the spirit world, however you want to put verbiage around that, it's waiting for us. It's waiting for people to reach out and take that step to do those good works, whether it's ceremony or whether it's centering yourself, finding, seeking meaning, purpose, destiny through suffering, through sacrifice. This is what our ceremonial way of life teaches about. And we have a generation of our people. Both Bear and I live among our people, and it's difficult. It's hard because of some of the symptoms of that forced dependency that I mentioned earlier. But through the struggle even, we're continuing to walk toward a spiritual liberation. And we know that the source of our spiritual authority and our power is the Wamakashka and the land itself, the waters, the elements, the supernaturals. And we all need to come together to protect those sources of power and authority. All the sacred sites that are in national parks, give them back to us. Give them back to the Sioux Nation. It costs money to run those things. Just give the Black Hills back to the Sioux Nation. It's that easy. And we want people to visit. We want people to learn. You're right about it is strange how we've been through so much trauma, but we're willing. We just want to be upright and we want to connect with our human family.
We want to exist. We want to be here on earth with everybody. We are equal with everybody else. We are human being with everybody else. We are the red nation of the earth. We have the blood. You have the blood. We all bleed the same color. Today, we ask for unification and peace. Okay.
I've always been a collector since I was a kid. Whether it was sports cards, magic cards, comics, stamps, or coins. And as I've gotten older, I've transitioned to collecting original art. I also believe in precious metals as one of the safest and most stable stores of wealth. The impossibly cool thing about my new company, Metal Mark, as part of the Aubrey Marcus Collective, is that it combines both of these things that I love. Fully assayable and recoverable fractional gold notes, paired with impossibly beautiful, cool, and collectible limited edition art. So if for some reason you don't like the art anymore, or the art loses its value, you can always just keep the gold. If any other class of art loses its value, all you are left with is paper, or in the case of NFTs, pixels. And if you are just starting in collecting gold, instead of having to drop $2,700 on a coin like this, you can get in for less than a Benjamin. You mentioned that there's a story of coming from the star people, so that there's a connection to the star people, and there's a myth about coming from the stars. Tell me about that myth and that origin story about the connection with the star people.
The connection we have with the star people is stores in our sacred Black Hills, our Baha Sapa. The first connection of our star people was there with one of our Ihani Itchachas, one of our chiefs, Black Elk, one of our chiefs, Crazy Horse, our chief Red Cloud, our chief Sitting Bull, our chief Crow Dog, our chief of chiefs. The connection comes through the spiritual way of how you see Taku Shkanshka, Taku Ilelia, Ianwagha. Hohe, the connection we have when Grandpa went to a vision quest to seek a vision, crying for a vision in the vision quest. He had the dream, the Woyu Humble, the Ihumble, to go and sit on the hill. No food, no water. 4 days. First day, Grandpa sit there. Nobody come. He pray with Chanupa. He have his Wapchaha, his Tratankapcha, his Wapchaha. He have all his sacred items with him, as Creator gave it to him in his former dreams before. Creator came on the 4th night before he left back to his society of people. Grandpa explained Ihani long ago. A man come from the stars in a circular object, what you will call a UFO. Today, Grandpa speak to the star people, the little green men. Long ago, they spoke to the star people. The connection of the star people, of how we came from the cosmos, how we come from the creation stories, a wind cave, Mother Earth's womb. It all connects to the stars. Dakushkashka. When the star comes, and we go to the Black Hills every year to have prayer, in the center of the Black Hills, there's a place called Peshla. Peshla is the center of the being of the universe, the heart of everything that lies, the heart of everything that is. Grandpa's vision quest 4 days in the middle. The saucer come. Little man come and speak to Grandpa. And he told him, where did I come from? From up above. Look there. That big rock there. That's where you come from. Grandpa told the story to the people when he come back from his vision quest. That's how the creation story will come to be of the Lakota Nation.
Let me add, because that's an interesting question. It's interesting to look into that when the Wanagi, and we are learning Nahakshi Umaspe. So the Wanagi Oyate, the Wanagi Chanku, they say when your body expires, Wanagi Chanku Omaniye, you begin to travel the ghost road, the spirit road. That is the Milky Way, what we call the Milky Way. And then your destination where you're trying to get, Wanagi Oyate, Wanagi Oyate, a place where you can, the Sichun, the memory, the personal experience memories, the totality of everything that one has interpreted, perceived, created meaning of in their entire lifetime. That is an important concept, but you can reconnect with some of those in that world. And in Lakota cosmologic knowledge, when you choose to be here, you chose to be here, to incarnate here in this time, in this place. I remember when, even with my own kids, you tell them to do a chore and they're mad, they're having a cranky day, and I didn't ask to be here. And I'm like, wait a minute, you did ask to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You chose to incarnate here, but you travel from the star people in our way, and you have to make it through the Big Dipper, what we call the Big Dipper. In the middle, there's a collapsed star. It's a portal. So you come through there to incarnate here. And again, throughout your lifetime, you attempt to seek nariton, or an understanding, to fulfill a purpose that you know, that you find out through your lifetime. And then when you get back up into the portal, the Sundance tree represents this journey. You could go, there's a woman there who's going to judge whether or not you've fulfilled your purpose or attempted to fulfill your purpose. If not, some say, just like samsara, you come back through, you come back around, and you're going to incarnate again. But if you've achieved a level of, it's not enlightenment, but it's seeking that. Narito is what the word is. And then you can go on to the other side of the Sundance tree, which is flowering with branches. It's a longer journey up into that place of the spirit.
Happy hunter's ground.
Happy hunting ground. And the star people, I don't know how to think of them. But they're important in not only our creation, but in our spiritual walk of life right now. And like brother was saying, the Lakolia, Woglaka Po, the language itself. And I don't like to think of it like a technology, but it's like a software. It's a thing, an entity in itself that we're connecting with, and we're able to express ourselves and spiritually animate our walk of life and our existence. And where did that language come from? Well, it came from a god. It came from a god known as Sa. Yeah. And so there's a whole knowledge system there. And since I met you, I've been having to think of how to deliver this to the broader world, because I learned it in a hurry, quick learning curve, because we had children. And the children are already inquisitive, curious, intelligent, and because of the mythologies that are alive today, like the end of the world, like doomsday, our young people are facing existential challenges from the jump. So I had to figure out what's the source of my spiritual knowledge and authority, because my children, my literal children, are asking me right now. So I had to learn it. But I've also been learning it my whole life, but I just didn't know that's the path that I was walking. And building bridges. Shakaruna. Why is it named that? How are we building bridges? I've been spending 20 some years building bridges. And so there's a lot of powerful work to be done. And we're happy to be here with you.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Yeah. Honor is mutual. One of the things that strikes me as well is if you look at the algorithms and the plots, there's a lot of risks about the world that we're currently in. And there's many vectors of those existential risks. The collapse of humanity is a possibility. But the one thing that none of those algorithms, none of those calculations are accounting for is the spirit world, and also the possibilities that are available to us as spiritual beings. You know, one of those quick examples, you gifted me this beautiful, incredible, and powerful rattle yesterday. And as you gifted it to me, you said, you can hold this to the sky and shake it, and the thunder beings will come. And so there was no thunder, going on. It was a quiet night. I shook it up to the sky, and then, 30 seconds later, thunder came, right? And it was like, what is going on? But for you just smiled, because there's a knowledge about our ability as spiritual beings to be able to work with the elements. And you've had what we would call supernatural encounters. Even your chanupa was delivered from the grave of your grandfather, I think. Your dad, the grave of your father. And so these occurrences, which we would call supernatural, are actually just natural in your way of life. Like, they don't surprise you. I'm thinking about it all night. How did that happen? Was it coincidence when I bid the rattle, or was there something more? But for you, you're living in a different type of world. And it strikes me that potentially that was one of the reasons why, empire, as it moved through America, was so hostile to your people. It wasn't just because of racism. It was the same way that the Catholic Church was hostile to the, quote, witches or the indigenous, different tribes and people. It seems like there's been a systemic attack on those spiritual beings who have access to supernatural powers. And, being around you and seeing and experiencing the things around you, it's something that actually gives me a lot of hope, because there's so much more available in the spiritual world, and we're so much more powerful than we can even imagine, that it's both exciting. It's like the intensity of riding a giant wave, like you could crash and collapse into the coral, but if you surf it just right, it's going to be the best ride ever. And I feel like that's the place we're in. And part of being able to do that is tapping into these spiritual technologies and the actual truth of how much power we are able to wield when we're wielding it in, collaboration with Great Spirit.
When you use the elements, when you use the earth, when you know the earth is here, it is right out there. The power is right out there. When you use the power, what the wagamuha, what the iya, what wachekyo, it is there to help. When you use it in the right way and you walk both spiritual paths, put away the negative. No drinking, no drugs. Turn your life around. You have the power to do that by choice. Whenever you chose to walk spiritual, sometimes people will walk it all their life and never experience anything. Am I doing it right or wrong? No. You're doing it right. There is no wrong in this world unless you create wrong. The choices. The power you have with the earth. They destroy the earth by moving the earth, the top layer, killing all the plants, ripping them all out of the ground, removing the stone that wasn't supposed to move. When they remove all of that, it exposes the vulnerability of the negative going into the earth. Mother Earth had to fight back somehow, so she will shake. So she'll let her fire out with the volcano. Mother Earth is protecting herself from what we are hurting her. as humankind. Okay. Whenever you have the rattles or something sacred in your way of life, you have the power and ability with your hands. It starts here. Starts here. Your hands are very sacred. Your body is sacred. When you come out of Mother Earth, you are sacred. Brand new baby. You have that power of your mother on you from the life that she gave you out of the placenta after birth. That power is there, and it connects with Takushkashka, the way. What you seen and witnessed last night with the Wagmuha and the Wakha, it brought the thunder being 30 seconds later. It lit up the sky. It rumbled the ground. The thunder being works with all elements. It works with the tree. That's why it's very important to have the Sundance way of life. The Sundance is very important in our way. The Sundance, you sacrifice 4 days for Taku, Wakha, Taku Shkashka, or Niecha self-healing. You'll heal from it. You'll heal, you will find your spiritual self. You will see your ancestors in the Sundance way. In the Sundance way. Some people see it on the vision quest, Humblechia. Oh, hey, how you seen it and how you recognized you have the self-inner power to turn on that light, to turn it off, your motivation. You have the power to move it on your own. You pick it up, shake it, you pick it up, swing it. That is power. Like I said, don't let everybody know. Don't let nobody know that you are strong. From here, that is your own power. And you'll open that door and you'll let somebody take it. No, it don't work that way. Nobody has the power to strip anybody. You have the power to do it yourself. You understand? Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, I'm going to turn it over to my brother, Hohechitu.
Oh. So we do need to create new myths. We need new inspirations, new rituals. We need a way to address the mass secularization that has happened. Going way back thousands of years, these forces, they stole from human beings their innate woableza, understanding, a consciousness about divine power, about the nature of the body, about the nature of Tchawachi or Nasula or Nari or Sich'un, Narila, Iyuha, all these concepts together. And normally you almost have to do a 20-part series just on Lakota knowledge, thought, philosophy, cosmology. And I'm no expert, but I spend a lot of time listening to old people. Just like brother was raised by old people. And our own people have different paths to finding knowledge of self, finding sacred knowledge, finding a way. Human beings have their own path to finding their way to practices that you've been offering. You've been serving people. Fit for Service was 6 years of you giving yourself, being that vehicle for that spiritual power. First time I did breath work with you, it scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what that was. Hey, Taco, hey, what is this energy taking over my body? You know, and the conscious mind or the mind part, the egoic construct wants to hold back. And it's the thing that is fearful. But I received a healing from that breath work. Meditation. These are practices that we need to create new rituals in common with everyone, because the Wolakota is not the majority of even our own people. We're in a minority in our own people, but the knowledge, the way of life is precious and irreplaceable. But it takes sacrifice it takes. People who are willing to go on the hill. The vision quest, 4 days, no food, no water. And you give yourself to that. And I feel and I believe from my experience that anybody of any quote unquote race can pursue that, can sacrifice in that way. All cultures fast. All cultures do the purification rite, or the oinikara, the sweat lodge. And just inside the sweat lodge alone, in my own human attempt to come up with a way to teach the most important parts about a sweat lodge, it's like diving into a cosmic ocean just to teach about one thing, to try to teach about one thing. And so we just have to keep our seeds open and give ourselves to the process. And something powerful is coming. We don't necessarily even need to know what exactly it is, but that potential we can create all together.
I've been in a deep study of that force that works inside of us and outside of us to pull us away from our potential. I call that force anti-you, and there's a connection to a native word. I don't think it's a Lakota word necessarily, but wetiko. And it's this energy of resistance. So there's the energy of the fruition of our soul, and then there's something that pulls against it. And in the lodge that we were in Colorado, your brother talked about his way of dealing with that. And he said, you keep your eye on the Chanupa, which represents the medicine way, the beauty way. And you keep your eye focused on it. And then that voice, the voice of the deceiver, Hasatan or anti-you or Sitra Akra, there's many names in many cultures, or Wetiko, that's pulling you away. And this seems like the inner contest that we're all in that reflects the outer contest. And if we all can make those inner choices to make the best choice, because we always have that small voice. In my lineage, they call it the lahisha, the whisper of your soul. It's like a whisper of your soul that tells you, and this is the way. But we oftentimes turn our face from the whisper. No, I don't want to do that. Let me just have some whiskey, or let me just go do this thing I know I shouldn't do, or maybe just sit on the couch and turn on a bunch of Netflix rather than go for a walk about to nature, So it's like every moment, the way I see is we're in this subtle contest with ourselves. That's the first and most important place to look, is like inside yourself. Are you going to surrender and submit to the will of your soul, the will of your highest potential? Or are you going to, turn your backside and allow those darker forces to steer you on the path? So in your own experience, I'd love to hear, your understanding of that force that's both propelling you towards your greatest potential and the force that's trying to pull you off course.
The experience I have with what we call the self-inner doubt. The self-inner doubt can attract the negative dark forces. Every single one of us throughout continent around the world, we all deal with the inner self of the inner demon. We have the doubt. That's how, when you have the doubt in something, a way of life maybe, in a job, business proposal maybe, you have a doubt everywhere, just like last night's ceremony. Just like a human brain, you have half hemisphere, you have the other half of the hemisphere. Half your brain don't work, the other half don't. You listen to one side, you don't listen to both. That's the way everybody is today. In order to change all of that, you do self-healing of how you get rid of the inner self of those demons on your shoulder, the good angel and the bad angel. Which one you listen to? We all listen to the bad angel. That's what the world is today. Look how the world is. That is because of the way greed suffers. Today we have to listen to both sides. The good side, the bad side. You put it together. Put it together on your own from your heart of how you feel with that choice. And you accept it and you carry it both. And it will work together. One mind, one heart, one prayer. You put it all together. Just like you put a bunch of cans together and it will make a sparkle. Today, that self-doubt, everybody has it. And it controls you to make you, allow you to do the bad choices with alcohol, drugs, or the wrong decisions you make. That's the people with their self-doubt. That's why we pray for them. We'll pray that your choices can be right with you. I don't personally take it responsibility on myself, but I just do it because the people need the prayer and the guidance. You need it. My brother needs it. I need it. I pray for myself. How I put it together and walk with it, you learn as you take the baby steps further in life. The prayer of it, of how you connect. When you're like a brand new baby and you're trying to take your first walk and your first step, you fall and you stumble. You fall over and hurt yourself. That's the devil leading you. What we call wakashija. That self takes over and it leads you to a wrong dark place. Most people don't choose that. They choose the inner self of picking yourself up today and you're going to be how you're going to be tomorrow. You study what you did yesterday and you learn for it and you look forward to tomorrow. Look forward. That self inner soul. Oh God, Jace.
Oh. You know, that's wakashicha, woshicha. But we have a whole cosmology, an entire mythology that takes a lot of study, but you'll arrive at a story of gods, knowledge of gods, of entities. And when you talk about anti-you and the negative source, the source of negative or passionate potentiality, energy in the world has a name, you know, but it's not just one entity. It's called Unk. And Unk she seduced the first god, Ea, who spun and created the universe, whose blood is water. He was the first primordial god. She seduces him, has a child, Ea, the giant, who, like Wendigo or Wetiko, I don't want to pronounce that wrong, but is insatiable. Greed.
Yeah.
Consumptive, like a virus.
Extractive.
It just eats. And those potentials are within. They're within as well as external. And then it goes on from there. She has a son with that god, and then she commits incest, has a son with that entity, who is Ganeshki. And so all these gods, so it goes, Unk and Ea have Ea the giant, and then she has a kid with Ea the giant, and that's Ganeshki. And they're the source and the cause of all the negative and the quote-unquote evil. It's almost like a human trap to think of it in those terms. Like good and evil, But it obviously there's some forces that are like that you could say, yeah, that's evil. And then comes along a fallen angel, you might say. Somebody named Xa, who served the good gods and gave the gods counsel, positive good counsel. They relied on him, but he had insecurities about himself. So these other forces played on that, took advantage of it, exploited that, enlisted his help. And he agreed to help him because they said, hey, these guys are never going to honor you. They consider you like a butler. They consider you, like a servant, and They're never going to
So
respect
they
you.
played to his ego.
They played to his ego. They made the
insecurity.
gods laughed at some of the way his shape, whatever he was like fluid, not solid, not gas, not fluid. So he looked funny. When the gods would see him, they would laugh. And the gods are like the sun, the motion, the earth. Then Ea became a god too. The stone. That's why when you take the stones in the lodge, that's Ea, and you're reuniting him with his blood, and that's the breath of life, the breath of creation. So the gods used to laugh at Xa. They didn't mean him harm, but they hurt his feelings though. Because his form was weird, different. I don't know what cosmic globule or something. And so they said, they make fun of your form. We won't do that. Come to our council and we'll give you a seat of honor. We'll honor you at this one. You'll have a rank in this one. So he went along with this scheme to embarrass the sun's wife at the time was the moon. And they enlisted the help of the counselor of the gods, who is known as Xa at the time. If the word for wisdom is Woksape, Xa is the root there. So he helps them and he embarrasses them. He allows Ganeshki to poison the food, and he allows this woman named Ite, who is so beautiful and nobody could resist her, and she was just so striking and intoxicatingly, appealing to everything that is appealing. They convinced the sun that the moon, his wife, was okay with Ite sitting in her place for a meeting. And there's this whole scheme. Ite ends up sitting in this place of the moon, and the moon is so embarrassed. That's why she divorced the sun. That's why the sun controls the day, the moon controls the night. It's much deeper than this. But Xa, I'm trying to get to the point where Xa is then the fallen angel. Just like a fallen angel. And he becomes the trickster. He becomes Iktomi. And the people that are the entities that conspired with Xa to embarrass the gods, they were banished to Earth. That's Ite becomes Anung Ite. She's the daughter of Wakanka and Wazia, a husband and wife medicine. They have medicine power, and it deserves looking into. And so we're looking into that. But I just want to say that all of the stories about the gods, all of the knowledge, what might be called mythology, what academia certainly would call mythology, those are representative of the potentials of the human being.
Yeah, and our mind and the archetypes.
Absolutely.
As you're explaining this, people might say, "Oh, these are just creation stories that are made up," but they point to certain truths, and these truths appear in many different stories. Like there's the story of Leonidas and the 300 Spartans, and in the movie Portrayal, which I thought they did a beautiful job. It's an incredible film, but there's a character, Ephialtes.
I know this.
And Ephialtes has this hunchback, and he is not able to raise his shield. He wants to be a Spartan, but he's unable to raise his shield and hold the phalanx, so he can't be welcomed into the tribe of Spartans. So Leonidas says, you have to be able to protect your brother to your left and to your right, and so we cannot have you with us. And so he goes to Xerxes, who represents this dark force of power, of empire, of extraction, of domination. And Xerxes says, we will make you, we will give you everything you want. All of the women, you'll be honored. You'll have a uniform. You'll have a place. You just have to betray the truth and the good and the beautiful of the Spartan people. And so they play on his ego. They play on his insecurity. They play on his lust. And then he becomes the undoing of the Spartans. He shows Xerxes the goat path where they can surround the Spartans finally, at the gates of fire, in Thermopylae. So these stories appear in many different myths, but it's always like the vulnerability that comes in, that desire for your ego to be more, or fear, or these other things. We had an experience in the lodge where there was many scorpions in the lodge. And our prayer was so strong in the lodge, all of us, powerful beings, and you're there, we're there. And we found scorpions in the lodge. And for a moment, For a few minutes, there was no more prayer. There was just fear. And to see all of these themes of how like fear will pull us from our prayer or our insecurities or our attraction to like an inflation of our ego, of our separate self that's disconnected from the whole. Like this is the way in for all of these, darker forces or voices. And so recognizing that and learning the stories and understanding the myths, even if they're not, quote, true, they point to a truth about how we can live our best life, is to be aware of our vulnerabilities, the vulnerabilities of our greed, our lusts, our desires, and also the vulnerabilities of our fear that can pull us from the path that we need. We must walk. We must become an even better version of ourselves collectively so that we can actually be shepherds of this earth, because I believe that's what we're here to do. Actually, as people, we're here to protect the earth and all her people and all her animals. And there's another story you told about the coyote and the reason that the coyote calls to the sky. I'd love for you to tell that story as well, because I believe that's what we humans can be. We can be the protectors, and that's our destiny, actually. But there's all these forces of fear and control and power that are pulling us from that path. But, I think we're supposed to be like the coyote, to protect us. So if you wouldn't mind, Chief Bear, tell the story of why the coyote calls to the sky.
I could tell the story of the Shugmanitu Oyate and the Ocheti Shakoi. I could speak for the land of the Ocheti Shakoi on that part. On that part of the coyote, how it connects. The coyote, they say, was a trickster. The coyote was the evil entity. He will bite you. He will eat you when he's always hungry. The coyote has a purpose on earth here, just like a regular animal. It has a purpose. The purpose of this coyote in Wamakashka, Wahutopa, the four-legged. His purpose is to protect the tribe, protect the people from the darker forces around. Coyote have sharp teeth, he'll bite you. Dog bite you, it hurts. You don't want to be around it. The coyote protected our ancestors. He became the trickster to the forces around, gave our indigenous tribes time to run and hide from the Mazawaka, the Milahuska, the long knives. The coyote did his part by allowing the Akichita society to wear him on their head as a chief bonnet, coyote bonnet, a warrior bonnet, protector bonnet. The coyote serves his purpose as protector of the women and children. The coyote come from his mama and his ancestors. The coyote showed his power to other entities, dark forces, to trick them so he could allow our ancestors to live. Coyote will bring you water. He will direct you to the mini waka, give you life. Coyote hollers to the Wichachpi people, the star people. The coyote will let the ancestors know in the Wamakoganaka of Wamakoganaka, the universe of universes. The coyote lets the star people know we are still here, indigenous and all race around the world. The coyote lets them know we are still here. Do not send a stone. So if you ever pay attention to the modern day science and what you call television, you pay attention to it rock rocks, the comets, they go by the earth all the time. Here on your land, brother Marcus, Aubrey, you have coyotes here hollering around. They are protecting the women and children around here, out on the outside, letting you know you have spiritual beings around, the dark entities of other people's choices. The coyote will protect you. When you have Wamakashka and you have beautiful land and beautiful spiritual prayers around all different races, all different cultures, all different ways here, the coyote will come. If you notice the owl flies here, if you notice the he-ha has a purpose. People say he's death, the owl. Many cultures believe he's death, the owl, the devil's horned owl. I don't believe that. I believe these birds here on earth have a purpose. Because of what I believe, everything has a nare, a spirit. Good or bad, you are put here for a reason. By the creator of creations, to keep what we have balanced. You have a left and you have right. You have to have it to balance your life, negative and positive, to walk that life. The coyote shows his power. When he shows his power to have you walk that spiritual way, a spiritual way, the coyote will balance you. You'll see how long it is. When you ever actually see a coyote up close, you see how long they are. They can stand on two legs if they need to. People don't pay attention to that anymore. The world is so colonized and different. The animosity's everywhere. The fighting's everywhere. The Wamakashka, the animals wonder why. Well, spirituality is everywhere. We need to use it. We need to pray. That's why Lakota, peace, is very important amongst the animals. If you put a coyote with the wild dogs, they're going to all adapt quick, learn to get along. It's about survival. Today, it's not about survival here, but it's about keeping the way of life, your way of life, the spiritual aspect of the being of you are, to keep it going. Grandma brought you here. Your mom brought you into this world for a reason. To live on her legacy and her ancestors, which is on you and me and my brothers and my relatives all around. Grandma and Grandpa, creator of creations, Mom and Dad brought you here. You have that spiritual power of the Coyote, Ktomi, Wanagi, Oyate, Wakia. All of it is an entity inside you to carry it. That's why I brought the ghost here, the Wanagi, to let you know there's a good spirit and a bad spirit. The good spirit is you. The bad spirit is you, by choices. That's the entity we are. You can activate it by walking the way you walk every day. The guidance of creation. That's why we notice we always look to the sky. And we ask the birds. When we see a wombly, a eagle, when you see a turkey vulture, when you see a buzzard, when you see a cheta, a hawk, or an owl, it all has a meaning. Creator's watching you through his eyes. Creation's watching you through the animals. So relatives, my encouragement is pick your spirituality up, no matter how you pray, and walk the spiritual way.
You know, as you describe that, you're talking about how the coyotes call to the sky to let them know, and those forces that control the asteroids, which we know wiped out the dinosaurs, potentially created the great floods as a stone broke apart in the Greenland ice sheets and flooded the world, and many, many people died. And in that idea, that mythology, that the coyote cries to the sky to say, we are still here. Like the spirit still moves within us. And I can't help but feel that when I hear you sing, and my brother Chase sing and you call it crying because there's a way of, it's just full aliveness. And then when you're drumming and singing, it's speaking to creation itself. Like, spiritual beings are still here. Like, this is something, it's not time to destroy, to recreate something new. Like, there's something beautiful still here. And I think that's, as we look at this world that has all of these risks, one of the solutions is to cry our heart's song to the heavens, to say, God, creator of creations, we are still here. Like we are still here. Our hearts are still beating. That warrior's heart that beats as one is still here. And so no matter how dark it gets, like that practice of prayer, that practice of crying to the sky, and doing that with our dance, with our lovemaking, with our songs, with our laughter, is a way to say, like, hold on, like, there's still life here, there's still spirit here. It's not time to start this wheel over again. Like, and that's really how I feel. It's like, we need to embody something that's so sacred that all of the sacred beings around us, all the helpers and allies and spirit beings and grandfather and all of the spirits will be okay. Like, we're with you. And it's one of the most important metaphysical solutions to all of the physical problems that we're facing. And Einstein says you can't solve a problem at the level of consciousness that created it. And this is stepping into a different level of consciousness, a higher level of consciousness, where you cry your prayer and your heart and your spirit out to the heavens, out to the cosmos. And it matters.
Yes.
Like, it really matters. And for everybody listening, like, you can do this in your own way. Like, send that signal that life here matters, and how you even treat your animal relatives. Like, life here matters. And with that, creation will agree and say, yes, life here matters. And we will move on, and all of those unborn children will be born. And the ancestral line that we've carried will carry forward, so that we don't have to start this over. Because we will, if things go wrong, we'll start it over again. That's the way creation works. Creation will always create more. But if we let them know, no, this now here, is worth it. It's fucking worth it.
That's the story of the coyote is very important. It's instrumental to the Sundance. When we come in the very first round, when the coyote is crying out on behalf of all life, all the Wamakashka, and human beings are part of that order. And so it's doing it on our behalf. But the coyote also taught us many songs. And for one of our teachers, Leonard Crowdog, his great-great-grandfather was saved by a coyote. His great-grandfather was in peril. And there's books out there that part of my job is to build a bridge into at least the English-speaking world, English-thinking world, so that the English-thinking world can access the source and substance, the archetypes and the foundations of Lakota metaphysics or indigenous metaphysics. So, me, you, Kingsbury's always hitting me up, Kyle, about, hey, bro, I just read this. I just read Lame Deer Seeker of Visions. What's next? So I'll give these recommendations. And when I moved to I come from the land of Sitting Bull, but when I moved to Pine Ridge, this is a storied place, the Oglala Oyate, the mighty Oglala Lakota Nation, which the Oglala are one band of the Sunni, or the Lakota people. But it is the place of Chief Frank Foolscrow, Pete Ketches, young Pete Ketches, his father, Vernal Cross. It is the place of visionaries, prophets like Black Elk, like others who were so generous of spirit that they shared it with the world. but there's no place that is where you can, it's still to be put together. And maybe that's the process. Is that the goal? I don't know. Some mountains are not meant to be summited. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of the journey. It's part of the learning and the sharing. But with our language and our sacred sites under threat, you mentioned Peshla earlier. Well, Dr. Sarah Jumping Eagle initiated land back in the digital age, and we saved a sacred site that is inseparable. It's inextricable. It's completely bound to our very lives. And it's under threat from graphite mining. And so the human beings have decisions to make about the way that we're going to walk on the earth. And I too feel that creation has gifted us with the voice, with the drum, with the spirit, with the eagle bone whistle, with the language, with the power to send our voice. And But first we need human beings to recognize that we have a voice, because everything out there in the secular world is going to pull you away from that spiritual power. I see it. I see a whole generation of people who are on their phones, including me, but I grew up before the internet. But I see the quick shifts in how there are new mythologies, there are new technologies that we have to deal with. They're waka, you might say, and that a basic interpretation of that word is sacred, but waka is the power to create and destroy. So if AI is here, and if the human beings are going to have to make decisions on what are the next 1,000 years going to be like in terms of the human spirit potential in relation to the technologic, presence. I'm not going to call it an advancement, but it's a thing. It is here, it's coming, it's being developed. It's going to use a lot of water. It's going to change. It's going to have an anthropocentric shift, a seismic shift again in the way that human beings are living lives. And so for me, the Wowaka, the spiritual way of life, that the way of life that connects us with the elements and allows us for them short moments. And those moments can be sought by any human being in their daily lives anytime they want. And there's particular times and particular places that we have to be. From when the thunders return to, now it stretches out past the end of summer solstice, when all of the ceremonies, the vision questing, the sun dancing, all of the ceremonies that we have, Indigenous peoples have, are being done on behalf of humanity. And we need to recreate that consciousness and instill that and empower people. 8 billion human beings need to be empowered, because we can save ourselves because of that crying out. Wochekie, it's a word for prayer, but it means to cry. And the way that the songs are, it's almost like a lamenting, it's a crying. So I believe we have that power to redeem ourselves, to save ourselves. We can't do it alone, but we can do it with the gifts that have been bestowed on us.
Yeah. Wow. I can't help myself, and I apologize somewhat insincerely. But you told me a story as we were on the porch yesterday that you had an encounter with Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be remiss. I feel like I wouldn't be doing my duty as a podcaster who grew up in the Rogan lineage if I didn't share, I didn't have you share this story about your encounter with Bigfoot.
It wasn't really like one-on-one conversation. It was just seeing it. I was 9 years old. We went in what we called, we talk about it a lot, vision quest, a humblechia in the Lakota language, out crying for a vision on the hill. I grew up, my dad was a spiritual man, a ghost man, a Wanagi man that carried this dream here. He carried it all his life when he was a little boy, from 1947 to 1997. Before that, it was our grandma. She was part Then our grandpa, he was part of Ghost Dance. And before that, beyond. Back to the story. Long ago, when I was 9 years old, I had a dream. And I said, Dad. I spoke to him like this. What does it mean when you had a dream of you sitting there with the headdress on? He said, go to the hill. I don't have an answer right for you, but go to the hill. That creator will tell you. It's a question for him. So I did. I didn't know what to do. He gave me a little small chanupa, this big. The stem and the bowl, put it together. Sat on the hill. 2 days. On my third night, I was sitting there. And then I smelt, like I said in the story, I smelt this dead skunk smell, and it was rough. Oh, the worstest smell ever. However you smell a dead skunk is rough. So, man, it stinks. What the heck is this effing smell? And here I turned around and looked. About 4 or 5 feet away, there was a big, tall, hairy man standing there. My hair stood up. This was a encounter I had in Pine Ridge, on the reservation, way out middle of nowhere, no electricity, no lights. The biggest city you could see is Rapid City. This the lights way over there. No electricity. I was out in the hills by myself, dark, scared. Didn't know what to do. Mind was leading me to be scared, but the heart took a warrior stance to stand there all night. I used that warrior stance of that heart and that courage, and I didn't let the mind lead me. I stood there. I looked, and this ugly, hairy beast was there. I turned back to the west direction. I sat down, and I told it, if you're going to hit me and take me, do it. I can't run. You're too fast. So I sat there, and I was scared, and I was like curled up like this, shaking, rattling like this, and then the smell disappeared. I turned and looked. There was nothing there. It was really walking way over there. This was when the sun was coming up. That's when I seen the red, green, yellow, and blue lines in the sky. I seen the black, red, yellow, and white colors in the sky. Before the sun peeks over, before it turns orange, you could see that. When it barely turns blue, you'll see that. That's when I seen that big, hairy man. At the same time, the ground was shaking. I turned around and looked. This was my experience on the vision quest. I turned around and looked. The ground opened. A man get out of the ground, dust himself off, nodded his head. Hechetu, that's all he told me. Hechetu, that's all. And he walked away. As he was walking, he disappeared. I thought it was my mind and my eyes playing tricks on me. Now I took this story and I told my mom. This is what I experienced on the hill. 2 days sitting up there. She said that was your vision, your dream of what you saw and what's coming for you in the future. So I went up there for a reason. Why am I sitting there with the headdress? I said, as a young boy. What does that even mean? Why do I have an eagle feather bonnet on my head? She said. I told her, I don't want to be any of that. I just wanted to be a law enforcement officer. I wanted to protect our people. You can do that, son. But that dream is meant for you in the future. I didn't know what that meant. Went about my life. 25 years later, I was a police officer. I served and protected my people. And then later down the road, when I went to go see my chief and spiritual leader, and I asked him, why do I keep seeing a dress on my head? What does that even mean, Dad? I don't want it, don't want it, and don't want it. Something I don't want. It's coming for you. You got to carry this dream. This dream here, the ghost. The one that you humble is coming. I didn't know what it was. Crow Dog put me on the hill. I went on the hill. When I went on the hill, I heard this, oh, oh. Oh no, coyotes are coming. They're going to tear me up. I don't have very much meat on my bones.
Mm.
That's what I said. Here they came. Shagmanitu, he worked like a hen and had talked to me. Miecha hielo. It is me. Tuecha, I said. Turn around, look. The Wahutopa, Coyote sitting there. Yeah, get out of here, I said to myself. The Coyote said, no. Miecha hielo. Chajimit khaki shagmanitu zi wichasha macha. So, hey! My eyes got big because it spoke Lakota to me, an animal. Now, those visions and dreams that I had there, the experience, I brought back and I told one or two spiritual leaders of me. One didn't believe me. The other said, you're on a good spiritual path. Just like the demon, one on one shoulder, one on the other. Who are you going to listen to? I put it together, and I made that spiritual choice. It was destined to be what it is today. I don't want to be. Just like Leonidas, the 300s, with the betrayal of the man that wasn't able to lift the shield, he betrayed his people. I didn't betray my people. But what I'm saying is, he got to live and walk a life. I got to live and walk a life. It is hard to be what we are today. But we have to do it because the way of life has to live on. The way of life has to be out there. We have to share the message of our indigenous people that the way of life of the earth is very powerful. You connect it when you walk with the earth. When you take your shoes off and you touch the earth, the dirt, you can feel the earth moving. That is walk. That is mother moving. Just like when you put a hand on a baby's stomach, a pregnant woman's stomach, the baby moves. Same thing with the earth. It moves. When you really pay attention and meditate, the earth moves. The Buddhist monks, they feel the earth moving. All the way around the earth moves. And then it shows itself when the whole earthquake happens. Knowing that Mother Earth is hungry. Just like a stomach, when they're hungry, it growls. Mother Earth is hungry. How do we feed Mother Earth? Just like I tell everybody, when you eat food, put it out on the ground from your mouth. I'm going to share with you, Mom. Just like when Mom fed you when you was a baby. From her mouth. You can do that back to Mother Earth. That being said, relatives, wo Lakota today. Ho hechatu.
I have to just go back to one part of the story. You said that this Bigfoot also was smashing rocks on the ground, communicating with another one.
Yes, in that story, as I heard this, then I heard it over there. Do, do, do. What is that noise? Communicating with the stones. They were using the stones he was hitting the ground. Do, do, do. Then you heard it on the other side of the canyon. Do, do, do. That Bigfoot communicate with each other with the stones. That's why the stone is very important. Bigfoot holler. He will holler, hoo, real loud. But you'll never hear Bigfoot talk like a human being. Just like an animal, how you put a buffalo and a cow together, they're going to communicate somehow. Physically, mentally, they will communicate. Just like a man and a woman, and you put them in a room, they will communicate. Communication is very important in the world. When you shut out the world, you shut out the world in the light. That's where the demons come. Turn the light on, open the heart. Love. Regardless peace. No matter how your day turns out, the day is about the day. Peace. So when the Bigfoot communicate and they hit the ground with the stones, I closed my eyes, I opened my eyes, that rock was rolling. And that Bigfoot was running way over there. Gone. Quick. That was only one time encounter I seen him. There was a second time I encountered a Bigfoot. I didn't speak to it, but I sang a song and it was coming, so I took off. Running. That was my fear. Just to see if I see it again. Today I don't pray to see a Bigfoot. I don't want to see a Bigfoot. But they are real.
Yeah.
You have evidence around the world. They are real. You have footprints in the ground that are way bigger than ours, that are actually just recently fresh. How could you explain the hair, the buffalo or the Bigfoot hair? Back home on Pine Ridge Reservation, there's a lot of encounters with Bigfoot in the spiritual way. And many different Sundances do see them. When you come to South Dakota, when the spiritual ceremonies come, you're going to enjoy and you will see the spiritual way there.
Uh-huh.
The TV shows you the worst part, what you want to see, but when you're actually on the ground, you see different. That's the way it is.
Uh-huh.
So today, relatives, say.
So as we move to close this beautiful conversation, just absolute gratitude, I have to share something personal to me. So I shared this with you yesterday. When I was 28, I did my first breathwork experience. And I'd already been doing on the medicine path, using the great plant medicines of the world with the great master teachers for 10 years. So I was familiar with the spirit world and the ability to contact the spirit world through the bridge of the medicines. But I was doing breath work. I figured nothing was going to happen. I was like, I'm just going to breathe, whatever. I'll do this because they want me to do it. And
you had the doubt.
Yeah, I had so much doubt. And I was breathing and breathing and breathing, and then something opened up. No medicine, just opened up in the breath work, and I saw one of the clearest visions, a vision I'll never forget. And it was a vision of me wearing a horned bonnet and looking at myself, back at myself. It was me in the horned bonnet, and I was looking at myself, and I knew that that was my soul. That was my soul looking at me. And then yesterday in the ceremony, you gifted me this buffalo bonnet. And it's such a wild experience that, how many years? 16 years later, now in the place that I'm at, where I've walked a journey that's winded its road. I've fallen down, I've risen, I've done, been on my own hero's journey. And now I wore that bonnet that you gave me, and I wore it all the way through from the ceremony all the way to the house. And I looked in this obsidian mirror that I had, and I saw the same vision that I saw when I was 28 of myself looking. And I just have to ask you, why? What about? Why did you gift this to me?
You have the question why. Okay, I get this a lot. I don't give bonnets to anybody. But some here, when I came here to this land here, when I came here, I felt this energy of this power that what you I wouldn't say created, but what was created here while we walked. The sacred circle you have here, of what you call a round table. Back home, we have something similar, like I said. You're leading a spiritual way here. Here today, I gifted you this headdress, this bonnet, this buffalo. It's a symbolize of our people. It's a symbolize for respect for our people. It symbolizes as your vision, your dream of how you was when you was young, of a want to not a want. Do you understand? You didn't want it, but you wanted it. You didn't want it. To how you had the dream of wearing it. Today, we gift it to you with the horns because you are a protector. You are a fighter. In your own way, you are. What your spirituality is doing, because you had a rough childhood. We all did. You grew up a hard life, looking for spirituality, like the doubt in the inside. Creator of creations have put us on a path, no matter what we are, to lead and help. Not for fame, not for money, not for glory, not for greed, for spiritual purpose and reality. That's all we have it for, is Lakota. So I gift it to you. From my ancestral lineage to you. I gift it here, and I gave the sticker of the Ghost Nation, Wanagi Oyate. He'll carry it on out here. Our people are suffering back home in Kola with drugs, alcohol. We pray and we ask for help, for healing. We want help and healing. Our people are too busy fighting each other. We unify them. We want them to come together. They're all good people. We are all good people around the world. Guidance with these headdresses, with the animals, with the knowledge of the spiritual teaching of the star nations. Just like when you're lost in the desert and you don't have a compass, what do you look for to guide you? The stars. The same thing we have with the eagle feather headdress, the buffalo headdress. We look to the animals for guidance. And today, we have gifted to you to help you with yourself and your inner soul, with the self-love you have. Remember, love yourself, brother. Ohecha tu yalo. Ahu.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Oh.
Chase, you have a word, and I believe the word is Kola. And it means a brotherhood, an ally, like a fellow warrior it's a bond that's something that's very important to me. It's a forever type of thing. It's like if ever you're in trouble, like your Kola will be there. Explain that word, and I feel that with you so strong, you know?
When you try to translate words from Lakota into English, it's never the same. You might lose a little bit. Just like calling it a sweat lodge. Oini kaga, that's grandfather's breath. That's a rejuvenation. It's so powerful. Friend, Kola is a word that has a deep meaning. And a long time ago, Crazy Horse had a Kola. Sitting Bull had Kolas. And if you look at the etymology of the word, it's endearing. It's something that you cherish, something that you iotranchila. Kola means my life is in your hands. So if somebody is coming to attack you or threaten your peace, your safety and your dignity, or your family's peace, safety, or dignity, then I have an obligation. I'm going to come and help you, even if it means great risk and insurmountable odds. And that relationship is reciprocated by you, by the other Kola. We have other ceremonies, the hunka. It's similar to a naming ceremony, but the names are very important. The hunka, making of relations, one of our 7 sacred ceremonies. O Kola Kichie, a society of leaders, of people who are giving of themselves for the greater good, for the greater cause, who are standing in that center. It's hot in that center. It's so hot. The eyes are on you. The daggers are coming for you. We say bullets in the front, arrows in the back. There's a lot of judgment there. But you have to love yourself and you have to take that step because people are depending on you. Oyate wa chini apelo. People are depending on you. People are depending on us to take those steps to create this hunkab relationship and to have kolas. Because Indigenous nations, the Great Sioux Nation, the Ocheti Shakoi, we need kolas. We all want to live in peace. And that is no small thing to have a kola. It means that if something pops off and it's something that it's not like, you know, how your buddy might get in a bar fight and then, or he'll start some shit and he'll come up to you and be like, hey, bro, you got my back or what? Because he already started some mess, right? This is not like that. This is a deeper alliance. If there is a spiritual need, if there is a need for asserting a positive, constructive right, if there's a need to defend the good from those other forces which are trying to destabilize that positive, constructive life force, then we're here to defend you, and you're here to defend us.
Well, it's my great honor to do so, and I will treasure these gifts that you have given me, both the gifts of the teachings, the gifts of your heart, the gifts of your ceremonies, the buffalo bonnet, the eagle feather, the sacred rattle, that ghost stone from the Black Hills, and it'll draw me forward to what my soul was pointing to, that dream that I had of the best, clearest, strongest version of myself who's willing to stand facing the storm like the buffalo, straight in and saying, if there be arrows, let them come to me, so that my people and those who aren't ready to take the arrows, they can be sheltered from that. And whenever I watch a movie about a hero, I cry. And I cry because I'm remembering that's who I really am. And it's the distance. I cry the amount of tears that are the distance from where I know myself, where I am right now, and where my destiny is. And so in the gap, the tears come as a remembering. And so thank you so much to both of you for helping me remember and helping the world remember. Because in the remembrance, with the help of the mystery, you know, we'll be able to navigate this stretch into the most beautiful life on the most beautiful planet. And, you know, I believe that we are here to live the destiny of the envy of all the star people. That you got to live on Earth.
Right.
Earth is the best. And I really believe that. And to do that, you know, we have to remember the ways and really come and support our native brothers. And so it's also a commitment and a responsibility. The moment I put that on, I, you know, whispered to my wife, I said, this is an incredible, impossible blessing and an incredible responsibility. But I take that responsibility with pride and with honor. So thank you so much for your willingness to share and teach. And I'm here, Kola. Like, if you need me, call me, and I'll do the same.
Bleach, yeah, bro.
We got a thank you song we will sing.
All right, beautiful.
are still here, relatives.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, brothers.
Yes.
Till the next time.
Until the next time.
Till the next time.
Until the next time. Thank you for allowing us to be on your land.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
Oh.
Oh,
Ejitu.
we love you guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning into this video. Make sure you hit subscribe. Follow me at Aubrey Marcus. Check out the Aubrey Marcus podcast, available everywhere. And leave a comment. Let me know if this video resonated or what else you would like to hear from me in the future. Thank you so much.